The Chinese Mafia is ruthless and unforgiving. With a fierce mob spirit and merciless rule, the Triads have made both China and Hong Kong theirs. From owning a large harem to being a celebrity mafia, these are the deadliest mafia that are ruling Hong Kong in 2024. We start with Kwok-koi, the Shanghai boy. When you hear the name Shanghai boy, you think of a stallion, a ruthless young adult plowing his way through the city and breaking bones while moving large amount of cash and drugs around the place. That's only half true, and the inaccurate part of this picture is that he's a young dude. Mr. Kwok-koi is a 62-year-old man, but unlike other men his age, he'd been in the streets longer than most present Triad guys have been breathing. He started with small-time operations, selling pirated CDs in the 90s before growing his business to thousands of stalls and then making his fortune in the gambling halls in Macau. He then ascended through the ranks and through the sheer force of charisma and wits, all the while consolidating a vast network of drug trafficking, underground gambling, extortion, and blackmail. His reach extends Hong Kong's borders, and he'd been the leader of the Wuhan-based Wu Triad for a very long time. In addition to this, he has a network that dips into the Golden Triangle and Southeast Asia, and his connections with major syndicates along mainland China. His sharp rise was fueled by his ruthlessness, foresight, and a reputation for being as unpredictable as he is strategic. These same traits were of immense use to him during his initial run-in with law enforcement, which saw him evade the authorities for more than 5 years. Despite repeated crackdowns by law enforcement, Kwok has maintained his grip on Hong Kong's underworld through alliances, bribes, and of course, his fearsome reputation. He operates a very intricate network that defies government efforts to dismantle it, and even though he was behind bars, he has absconded many times and even continues to maintain his grip on the underworld when he was put in jail. As he rises, he also manages to toe the line with several legitimate businesses and has been seen in Europe and several other continents several times, vacationing and living in 5-star hotels while spending hundreds of thousands of dollars each month on bodyguards. If you made it this far, how about you consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video? It really helps us out and allows us to keep bringing you high-quality content about the Mafia world. Thanks, we appreciate you. Next up is Kuok-koi, aka Broken Tooth Koi. For anyone who's even had a passing conversation about the 14K Triad, Broken Tooth Koi's name would always come up. Think of the Al Capones and the Pablo Escobars. Broken Tooth Koi is probably the most famous Triad boss out of China to ever grace the scene. The title of crime lord is one that he has worn with pride for decades. He had a very sad and ruthless childhood, fighting for his life on the streets of Macau before throwing his lot in with the 14K Triad. When there, he maintained for a bit in the local ranks before the arrival of an even more ambitious gangster, Wai. Took Broken Tooth Koi and gave him jobs to do. Wan began to rise in the ranks of the 14K, and soon enough, he reached a crossroads. Wai demanded that Broken Tooth kill his boss, Mo Ding-ping. It wasn't going to be easy, but Broken Tooth Koi accepted the task and immediately got to work. Within a year, the turf war ended and Ping had to escape to Macau because the authorities were hot on his tail, and immediately Broken Tooth Koi rose in to fill the void. It didn't take long before Wai became wary of Koi's new power and influence, and they immediately came into conflict. Again, Broken Arrow emerged victorious, and he began to spread his empire, even being bold enough to approach a producer to make a movie about his life. He was later arrested and then spent some years in prison, but was released in 2012. This did not impact his influence in any way. He continued to expand his empire, coming into Hong Kong, Cambodia, Malaysia, and many other countries. It is unlikely that he would be stopping anytime soon. Next, we have a Robin Hood-style mafia in Big Spender, Tze-Keung. Tze-Keung, who is also known as Big Spender, was one of the most daring Triad members whose legacy still runs deep in the hearts of the modern Triads. Unlike most of the members who chose to partake in activities under the shroud of secrecy, Cheung thrived in the public eye, earning his notoriety in a series of high-profile kidnappings that targeted Hong Kong's financial district. He targeted business tycoons who built fortunes in steel, real estate, and banking, and with each successful heist, he cemented his name in legend, branding himself as a man to be taken seriously by gangsters and civilians alike. He moved to Hong Kong when he was just 4 and then acquired his nickname, Big Spender, for his flamboyant and luxurious tastes. He was even able to create a Robin Hood image for himself and would give friends and strangers free money and gifts. There are numerous stories of how he once gave thousands of dollars to a young street painter in Bangkok. He would typically shower hotel staff with tips and favors. He mostly did armed robbery and kidnapping. One time, he looted over $30 million in Rolex watches from an airport, and another time, he robbed a security van in Hong Kong, carting away over 167 million Hong Kong dollars. He claimed money was the most important thing in the world and frequently said he didn't have the patience to do honest work. Probably what sealed his name in legend was his kidnapping of Walter Kwok, a real estate mogul, as well as the son of Li Ka-shing. For these two crimes, he got over 1.6 billion Hong Kong dollars. His stories continue to inspire many triads today, and it is clear that many are taking his approach to handling public personas. Next on the list, we have the celebrity triad, Michael Chan. Can you think of any European or American actors who act in a lot of gangster roles and have very public rumors that they have links to these gangsters? No? This mafioso was no doubt built different. Michael Chan acted as a triad in a lot of Chinese movies, while knowingly being in the triad himself. The celebrated actor became famous in Hong Kong for his roles in martial arts and crime films. He gained his own public persona through his charm and charisma, and these helped him to secure his position as a beloved public figure. He apparently used his influence in unconventional social circles to form connections with certain people in order to push the 14K Triad's goals. This enabled him to gain access to places that others may find difficult to access, and his dual role as an actor and a triad grants him a unique position of power and protection. But how did these rumors come to be? The rumors had always followed him around, considering he played the part of a charismatic triad member. But what hit the nail on the head was when he, in an interview, admitted that he once held the position of the second most powerful person of the triad branch of Tsim Sha Tsui area of southern Kowloon in Hong Kong. This stunned many people, even though they were rumors. What was even more shocking was that at the time, he worked as a police officer in the prison system. This seemed to point to the fact that he most likely used his position there to contact and relate with many crime figures. Honorable triad mentions include Chen Shi-li and Madam Shi Kai-ping. Chen, also known as King Duck, is a Taiwanese triad and lord of the United Bamboo Gang. Although he never operated out of Hong Kong, he was once described by the Financial Times as one of the most consequential gangsters ever. Madam Shi Kai-ping, however, was the only godmother of the Triads. She once ruled the Chinese city of Chongqing and ran illegal gambling operations out of her city. As a middle-aged woman of immense power, she kept a harem of 16 young, handsome male paramours who entertained her whenever she wanted. She was eventually sentenced to 18 years in prison for her operations, and her time is about to be up. One can only wonder if her lovers are willing to receive her again. Would these crime bosses be able to maintain their grip on the underworld in the coming years? Comment with your thoughts, and for more dark stories, subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell to never miss an update.